There's apparently no end to the surprises, good and bad, when it comes to Donald Trump. The latest of these is his peace summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, where the two leaders declared a new era of good relations between their countries. Trump's zero-casualty enforcement of a red line in Syria and continued economic growth at home should have given us pause for thought. But this summit in Singapore has been unprecedented, bringing us back from potential nuclear disaster. Now, I've been no Trump fan, but as outrageous as he can be, let's not kid ourselves. If any other American president, especially Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, had achieved what Trump just pulled off with the little rocket man, they would be hailed by my fellow liberals as statesmen. It is disingenuous to pretend otherwise. And if being liberal means avoiding alternative facts, it is time for us all to give credit to Trump where credit is due, lest we become precisely like the dogmatic ideologues we hold in such disdain. That's fair, wasn't it?
Maajid, you couldn't even keep a straight face during that intro.
Well, I did say he was outrageous.
All right, listen, I'm going to take inspiration from your subject matter and go a little bit off-piste. I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Sure.
How many times a day do you pee?
I thought...
What? Just bear with me. How many times a day do you pee?
How many times a day do you pray? I'm meant to pray 5 times a day.
Right, how many times a day do you pee?
I don't know, but I imagine quite a few times to keep myself hydrated.
Right, well, the average person pees 6 times a day. And that is the same number of times as the average number of lies Donald Trump tells every day.
Yes.
I think that's what she's saying.
The point I'm trying to make is, you can flip this.
Yep.
Imagine if Obama had told 6 lies every day the entire time.
I think he did.
Do you think that that would have been tolerated by the American people? Can you imagine if Obama was accused of sleeping with a porn star and then lying about it and then lying about the fact
I can't believe this is happening.
No, the point I'm trying to make, Maajid, is you're saying that it's hypocrisy because the liberals won't give Trump the same praise they would have given Obama for what he's accomplished. I'm saying...
I would still vote for Obama over Trump.
It's the opposite. No, Obama would never have been able to get away with a fraction.
Let me tell you why. Let's have a look at something. Let's have a look at this handshake, and I'll tell you why I think I disagree with you. Let's look at this. Look at this. Right, now, here we have the two men shaking hands. This is historically unprecedented. Nobody ever dreamed such a thing could have ever happened. And by the way, it was Obama's outgoing request to President Trump to avoid a nuclear disaster with North Korea. So even Obama wanted to make sure that this happened, what we're seeing right there. And here's why I disagree with you. Because do you remember the nuclear deal Obama made with Iran?
Yes.
Now, the same criticisms that are now being levied against Trump for legitimizing a tyrannical regime, allowing them to get off scot-free with their nuclear arms, are the same criticisms that were made against Obama by conservatives, and liberals were defending Obama then when he made that deal with Iran. I supported both deals. The only problem now with the Iranian deal is, of course, that cache of files that have been found that proves that the Iranians actually stored all the information as to how to make nuclear weapons, as opposed to eliminating them as they should have done. But in principle, I support peace deals wherever they're made, and I just think we all need to be a bit more consistent. Let's bring others in.
I know everyone else wants to come in and say how many times a day they pee, but just let me reply quickly. No, seriously. Let me reply quickly. I agree with you. If Trump can achieve denuclearization with North Korea, he will deserve to be praised for that. We all want a safer world, right? Yeah. My issue is not, and I, of course, have problems about doing deals with one of the most human rights abusing regimes in the world, but we need denuclearization.
Did you support the Iran deal?
So I agree. But how will he achieve denuclearization? We don't have the details. And there are lots of issues about the way he's done it, alienating some of his allies.
Well, if I can refer to something slightly more robust than Maajid Nawaz's toilet habits, which would be this morning's Financial Times, which I'm sure you, like me, enjoyed reading over your breakfast. And it talks about the success that Trump has done. The top half of the one is about the success he's achieved in Korea, taking on board that we still have the devil in the detail. Yeah. And then it also talks about another point. The US economy is accelerating growth, rapid job creation. But of course, Afua, you are with all the other lovies across the whole of the world, and possibly the lovey-in-chief, or the key cheerleader I refer to of none other than, of course, Robert De Niro at the Tony Awards earlier this week.
I'm going to say one thing. Trump. It's no longer down with Trump, it's Trump.
Couple of points and then I'll yield. How brave it is to tell an audience from Hollywood on the screen to start shouting about Trump. That really took some courage, didn't it? I wonder if you live in Los Angeles, whether, to pick up on a point that Maajid made, and you've been watching TV, did you feel more secure by images of the leader of the Western world and your president shaking hands with the first North Korean leader ever, 70 years since the Korean War, seeing those pictures and thinking, oh, I wonder if... Or were you more comforted by an ageing actor screaming four-letter words at a Hollywood, at a Tony ceremony? I wonder which gave you more comfort. And you bring in Barack Obama, my final point. You would have been among those who, when Barack Obama gave a speech while president in Prague, and he talked about, I see a world without nuclear weapons, and he got a Nobel Peace Prize, and people said, we need to give him another award, and people fell and swooned. That very night, North Korea did some nuclear tests. That very night. How did Barack Obama respond? He warned Kim Jong Un he could be isolated. Oh, boy. Let's do it the Trump way. You're a rocket man. If you come after me, I will unleash the forces of hell. It's worked.
I actually was among those who thought that Obama shouldn't have been awarded the Peace Prize because he hadn't done anything yet, just because Nick said that that's the kind of thing I would have
agreed with. Can we put this in a wider context, which is that President Trump left the G7 summit, having invited Russia back in, having dumped on America's closest ally, Canada, and saying that there was a special place in hell reserved for Justin Trudeau. Everything he has done recently appears as if he's taking dictation from the Kremlin, from resigning from the Iran nuclear deal, which of course sent the oil price up, which means that Russia's sitting pretty with oil at $80 a barrel. No, just wait. I'm not dodging your point. Do you really feel safer with Donald Trump in the White House, whatever he did with Kim Jong Un? Can I just make one point? He removed from the communique of after the G7, that hopeless G7 summit, the line that we were basically, these countries, the powerful countries, were in favour of the rules-based international order. He isn't. He prefers to freelance, doing trade, doing deals with other dictators, basically. So let's hear what Donald Tusk had to say about this.
Yeah. The rules-based international order is being challenged. Quite surprisingly, not by the usual suspects, but by its main architect and guarantor, the US. At the same time, we will not stop trying to convince our American friends and President Trump that undermining this order makes no sense at all.
Well, it happens to be the President's 72nd birthday this week. Today's Thursday. So what you say is a nice little birthday surprise for him, as was his nomination by 2 Norwegians for the Nobel Peace Prize. Look, I mean, the proof in the pudding is going to be in the eating, and let's see what the communique says. If he has brought peace in our time in the Korean Peninsula, good on him.
And if he has, we need to acknowledge it. Michelle.
So Maajid, I couldn't care less how often you go to toilets. I don't want to even think about you on the toilet, quite frankly. But I do agree with everything that you've just said, and I think that there are a great number of people that no matter what Donald Trump does, he could do the most amazing, positive thing in the world, they still would not be able to find it within themselves to give him credit. And you said...
That's exactly the opposite of what I just said.
but like you just said that Obama couldn't get away with a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump did. Donald Trump doesn't really get away with anything. No. People are on his back, on his case, constantly.
Hold on, Misha. Can you remember what he said during his campaign? I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone in broad daylight and I'd still win this election. He can get away with anything.
But that was just him being a bit stupid, because ultimately what happened with Donald Trump is that a lot of people wanted somebody different, and they voted for him based on the things that he was promising. And actually what you've got is somebody that's, for once, starting to deliver on what they said that they would deliver, and that is actually quite refreshing.
Look, I'm a Trump critic, OK? And I've been so before his election. All I'm trying to say is where the evidence points us, we should, as Liberals, be evidence-led. That's what we pride ourselves on. And I think that, for example, enforcing a red line in Syria is something Obama didn't do and Trump did do with zero casualties. I think the performance of the economy and now North Korea are all, they're all things in his favour. And, of course, the G7 and the trade stuff is against him, as is his general bombast bigotry.